We're going to start working on shelf number 3, the empty one, and the first thing that we want to do is to lift up the top plate and to separate it from the shelf itself. Alon, go ahead. You just grab it from the back and the front and just lift it up and bring it out.
Away from the load cells.
Yep. And be aware not to harm the load cells under. After we have removed the top plate, we want to undo the wires of shelf number 3. So if I'm looking at the Leopard, this is 1, 2, 3 is the one that we're working on, and we want to disconnect it. So first we're going to disconnect the cable who is going to the Spider. Do it very carefully not to destroy the little wires. And then you want to undo the load cells. Now we're not going to use the Spider anymore, the Leopards here anymore, because each one of the new shelf has a Leopard at the bottom. After we have disconnected it, we just want to take this clay out and to undo the wires. So we can pull this just to expose the hole, and then to take the wires through it. We do want to save this clay because later on we're going to have to get the wire coming from the new shelf through this same hole, and this clay is the sealer that we want to use later on. And this is from the inside of the cooler. We're just going to pull these in. At the same time, we want to undo this screw so we can release the wires. And once we undid this screw, we're basically ready now to undo the whole shelf. Okay, first thing that you want to do to remove the shelf is to undo these little clips here, and note the little white stopper. When you pull this out, you want to pull and lift so the lever will come on top of that white stopper. This is the best way to do it, and we want to do this for each one of the 4 next to each load cell. Once all 4 clips are released, we are ready to pull the shelf out. Just lift and pull out. You might need to slant it a little bit to allow it to get out of the cooler. And this is it. Well, we're not going to have any need anymore for this part, for the shelf itself, but it's a good idea to mark it, to mark what shelf number it is. So if we do need to use it again, we know that this is calibrated for a specific Leopard, so we know which shelf belongs to which old Leopard. Inside the cooler, you're going to be left with the 4 clipses, 4 little hangers that will accept the new shelf. So this is the only thing from the shelf that you took apart that you want to keep inside. This is the new shelf that we're going to put in the cooler. Note that right here we have the cable. This is flipping out. We have an RJ45 cable that will go from here to the Spider. We want to make sure that when we insert the shelf, this side is at the bottom and this connector here is on the left side, close to the side panel. So we're going to start by placing the side with the load cell at the bottom and make sure we put something soft under so the load cells won't have any pressure on them and they will be clear. First thing that we want to do is to flip open that connector, other side, and connect an RJ45 connector from one side, and the other side will go to the Spider. So this is the RJ45, and there is a little loop here, and then a little groove in which the cable can go. You can widen this a little bit to make the sliding of the cable easier, but be very, very gentle with the cable and make sure that we don't harm it. And this is how it should look. And now we are ready to insert the H base into the cooler. Again, the connector is going to be on the bottom left side. And then we need to slide this into the grooves at the bottom and make sure that all 4 clipses are inserted into their place and that the shelf is steady and not moving. Next thing, we're going to slide the cable into the hole and grab it from the other side. And this cable will eventually go here into the spider. Again, it doesn't matter to which connector on the spider. Spider is agnostic to it. The ID is already encoded on the leopard at the bottom of the shelf. Okay, now we're moving to the top plate. This is the bottom part of the top plate. Note the 4 plastic circles. We need to take them off as we're using new load cells and they have a different size. So each one of these have 2 little screws here that we're going to undo for all 4 of them. Alright, now the next part is to attach the rails and the circles were sitting on top of the load cells to the back side, to the bottom side actually, of the top plate. So this is the top plate when it's upside down. This is the front side of the shelf. This is the back side of the shelf. And I'm going to grab 2 rails now. And I need to figure out which one is the left and which one is going on the right. So first of all, the right angle is always towards the outside. Same here, right angle is toward the outside. Now you will see that there are holes here that are closer to the edge than on this side, which are further from the edge. So this is how we know which side is going to the front and which side is going to the back. So back side is the large distance, front side is the smaller distance. So we're going to align both of them together, and now we know which one is going on the left and which one is going on the right. So once we figured out which is going on the left and which is going on the side, we wanted to attach these circle right here in these holes. So make sure you leave these 2 holes for attaching the whole rail to the bottom.
Smaller, slightly smaller diameter. These 2 for
Right.
these 2.
And then the rest of them are for the plastic circle.
And they have a slightly larger diameter.
Okay, note that you have 2 types of screws. The smaller ones are used to attach the metal rail to the bottom of the top plate, and the larger screws are used to attach the plastic circle to the metal rail. Okay, so let's attach it.
And
Now it's very possible that you will receive the shelves with these 2 parts already attached, where the plastic circle is already attached to the metal rail. If this is the case, less work for you. And if not, it's just 3 screws that we are attaching. Very good. So we're going to attach 4 of these, 1 in each corner. And then it's time to attach the metal rail to the plate. Since we're working on the plate where it's upside down, top is bottom and bottom is top, so note that the 2 little screws are going from the top side of the shelf through the shelf and into the metal rail, opposite side to the screws of the plastic circle. This is how it looks like when everything is attached and it's ready to go into the cooler. And the next step is, after we have put this all together, is to insert the top plate on top of the H-base. So let's see how good Alon doing that. Okay, lift from the bottom and insert. Be careful not to drag the shelf on the load cells, because that will destroy the load cells. Once you're in the right position, just apply a little bit of pressure and look at the bottom.
Exact location.
Very good. And look at the bottom to make sure that it looks at the place and it's not going back and forth. That's about it. And the shelf is ready. After we're going to put all the shelves together, all the top plates, we are going to connect the cables to the spider.
Final step, taking the cable coming out of the Innovendi side, mark it with a correct shelf ID. You can do it also before. Then push it all the way, and you have to disconnect the existing old shelves and reconnect the new one. Order doesn't matter. This way you have to finish all the cables and finish sealing by applying the plasticine.